All right, yo, my crazy phone. I don't know what's going on. My phone is like it wouldn't. Technical difficulties. All right, here we go. I think I got it figured out now. This isn't too bad. If this actually works, it'll be a miracle. All right, here we go. Woo, that was crazy. My phone would not go live for some reason. What's up? I'm seeing some comments already. All right, I'm actually going to go over to my, I have my laptop here, so I'm going to go over to my laptop. And I think let's see, the thing right here on this side, that is where I need to look. Hey, what's up? What's up, guys? So what I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna jump over here. I'm actually trying to live stream from my snake room, which is kind of crazy. I don't know if this is actually gonna work. I just uploaded, I just increased my internet speed to double the speed, which is now like 3 megabits per second. So that's not very fast. All right, so I'm actually coming over here. I see it on my laptop. I think I'm gonna have to turn my volume down or off here. And I'll see if I can actually see some comments. Wow, got a bunch of comments. I'm gonna switch over to live chat so I can see all the comments. Lots of comments already. What's up, guys? Whew. It looks like it's actually working. I can't believe it. I think I might be a little bit crooked here. This is it's actually a miracle that it's actually working. I was thinking about bringing Bobby out. Bobby is right over here. I can grab him. I don't know. I kind of wanted to. I was trying the mad dash, trying to figure out if I could actually do this. So let's see if we have some comments already. Wow, look at all these comments. Crazy. What's up? 1,000 subs with no video challenge. That is pretty awesome. Northern Exotics, what is up? Phew. Yeah, I thought your internet was too slow. Yeah, I thought so too. Yes, I'm in the snake room. It's unbelievable. All right, let's see. Wow, lots of comments. Yeah, this is much better than the car. Yeah, I think so. Not too bad. Pretty amazing. Yes, I've blown up lately. Yes, I've been doing 2 videos a day, which is kind of crazy. I just passed over 930 videos on my channel. Let me tell you, I've blown up, but it seems like I haven't blown up as much as I feel like I should have blown up. It's kind of crazy. I have so many videos. Oh, man. All right, so, wow. I can actually see comments up on my phone and down here. So I suppose I could try to get, let me see if I can spin this around a little. Maybe we can try to get Bobby out. What do you think of that? I could go over, I could grab Bobby. He's right over here. All right, Bobby. Oh. All right, we'll see if Bobby actually behaves. He's probably going to go crazy. Look at him. Oh, not too bad. All right. I don't know how much you can see of Bobby. It's kind of zoomed in a little bit. I don't know if I can back it up a little bit. All right. Here is Bobby. All right, Bobby. Smile for the camera. There's Bobby. Doing pretty good. He's doing good. He hasn't eaten a rat this week, so he's doing pretty good. He's been eating a lot. He's getting really big. All right, so I'm going to look at some of these comments. Wow, lots of comments. Let's see. How long will it take my female to get into ovulation? My first time breeding. It's kind of interesting. Usually I start pairing up about the middle of October. Look at Bobby. Oh, no, he's already getting in trouble. Yeah, I don't know if this is going to work with Bobby. All right, Bobby. Whoo, here we go. He's going back in the back. We'll see if we can actually, if this is actually going to work. You might get into too much trouble here on the live stream. I don't know if I can read comments and hold Bobby. We'll see how this does. What's Bobby's weight? I have no idea. 350 videos with 13,000 followers. That is pretty good. Let me tell you, it's a slow climb. And kind of the interesting thing is if you put out a whole bunch of videos, so I've been doing like 2 videos a day. So the last 2 months, I put out 120 videos, which is kind of crazy. And it seems like it takes a while for the subscribers to catch up. So I think if you just kind of sat down, as a matter of fact, if you just sat down and put out 1,000 videos, it's kind of a lag for the subscribers to actually catch up to your videos. It doesn't really matter, eventually in the long run you come out ahead, but it seems like it's a slow road no matter how many videos you put out. It's kind of crazy. Is Bobby my only bamboo? I actually have some bamboo combinations. I have a bamboo lemon blast, and now my new one this year is actually a bamboo pastel pinstripe calico, which I'm going to hold back. Yeah, and I'm actually thinking about. I have one bamboo. I'm going to get a drink of water. I got some in my throat here. I actually have one. So let's see. I have one bamboo. I'm thinking about holding it back. I'm not sure if it's a male or female, but it looks almost exactly like Bobby. And I was thinking maybe I should have a replacement just in case something happens to Bobby. Not that anything would ever happen to him, but I was thinking about maybe getting a backup and holding one back. Be even better if it was a female, which would be kind of cool. How old is Bobby? Bobby is 7 years old. Yeah, what's my best hatchling this year so far by Northern Exotics? My best hatchling, I'd say probably, well, I actually have three that are really awesome. I have the one that I hit with all genes, the bamboo pastel pinstripe calico, which is pretty amazing, pretty much the crown jewel of that combo. And then I have another one that's a super pastel desert ghost. That thing is crazy. Like I didn't even know the female was desert ghost, and I just randomly bred my visual desert ghost around my collection. I just popped out this visual desert ghost, which is pretty awesome. And then I have another one that is Lucky. We named her Lucky. I don't know if it's a male or female, but it hatched out super small. It already ate, I think it ate 3 meals already, 3 live rats, and it was super small. It came out to be, I think it was only like 20 grams, super small. I couldn't believe it. And that one is, I think it's a pastel yellow belly spider pied 100% het albino, which is a really awesome snake. Bobby's getting into trouble again. All right, Bobby, what are you doing now? All right, come on for the camera. Say hello to everybody. He is getting in trouble. Look at how big Bobby is looking, really good. He is the star of the show. I'm just kind of talking in the background, and everyone's here to look at Bobby. He's a pretty awesome snake. All right, let's see. Do you do kickflip? I've never heard of that one. Yeah. How can you tell blackhead and lavender albino? That's pretty funny. It's not like someone just asked me that question, and it's the question of the day for the video for tomorrow. I don't know if it's going to be tomorrow morning or tomorrow evening. So essentially, blackhead and lavender albino, essentially what it does is it really reduces the amount of yellow. It really reduces the yellow patterns and gives it more of a white. Kind of the same thing with black pastel too, which is pretty interesting. Let's see. Let me scroll back in some of these other questions here. It looks like it's kind of struggling maybe to focus, or maybe it's my resolution. I don't. So if I actually get dropped, I don't know if if this is actually gonna keep going for the whole hour. I pretty much plan on doing this for a whole hour, so we'll see if I can actually do it with my really weak connection. It's kind of crazy. And let's see, so far it looks like we have 83 people on the live stream. Pretty awesome. I think the last time we did live stream, we ended up with, I think the most I ever had was like 120 or 130 people on the live stream. So let's see. Am I gonna be at the Denver Repticon next month? I'm actually waiting on my vaccine for the plague. As soon as I get my vaccine, I'll be back at the shows, but I'm pretty much hunkered down here until they figure out that whole thing. It kind of freaks me out as far as, some people think it's a scam, but I'm just kind of playing it safe, hanging out here in my snake room. All right, so let's see. Do you ship to Arkansas? Yes, I do ship anywhere in the United States. Bobby is getting into trouble again. All right, Bobby. This is why I didn't bring Bobby out in the first place, because he's like all over the place. All right, Bobby. He's kind of going back in the racks. All right, if I can keep him up front, I think we'll be okay. I don't know if he's going to last the whole time. It's kind of crazy. All right, let's see. I'm going to scroll down on some of these chats here. Let's see. I want one of Bobby's babies. Yeah, they went super fast this year. I think I had like 4 bamboos that I posted up for sale on Morphmarket, and they all sold within like 10 hours. Within less than half a day, they all sold. It was pretty crazy. And I have like 20 people in line for another bamboo. I can't even produce enough. It's pretty amazing. Who is Bobby? This is Bobby right here. This is Bobby, my bamboo ball python. He is on every video, at the beginning and end of every video. He's like the star of the show. How old was I when I picked up my first snake? And what was it? When I first started, I started when I was about 9 years old, maybe 8 years old, catching wild garter snakes. That's how I started. And I didn't have a pet snake until maybe about 5 years ago. All right, Bobby. Bobby's getting into trouble. All right, come on, Bobby. Let's see. All right. Okay. Everybody wants Bobby. What's the weight on Bobby? We don't know what the weight is on Bobby. I'm guessing he's probably about 3,000, maybe 3,500 grams. Maybe even bigger than that. I don't know. Well, as a matter of fact, I think last time we weighed him, he was about 2,800. I think he's about half as big as my biggest female, which is about 5,000 grams, which is kind of crazy. What's my biggest ball python? My biggest ball python is about twice as big as Bobby here. Let's see if I can keep Bobby from getting into trouble. Yeah, this is going to be interesting with Bobby here. He wants to be the star of the show. All right, Bobby, we're going to have to keep him out front. He's getting in trouble in those racks back there. Bobby is my biggest male. He is by far the biggest male that I have. And I pretty much don't have anything that's close. Maybe my Coral Glow is pretty close to this. I have a Coral Glow 100% het pied that is probably the second largest male that I have. My biggest female is probably about 5,000 grams, which is kind of crazy. Where did I buy the racks in the back? I actually bought my racks from ARS Caging. Pretty much all the racks here in this whole place, they're all from ARS Caging. And kind of the interesting thing is you really can't buy used racks. I don't know if you've been shopping for racks, but I pretty much bought them brand new, paid the sticker price, and sometimes they give me discounts every now and then. I haven't bought a rack in a while, but I bought so many racks over there that they pretty much tell me now. It's like, hey, can you give me a deal on a rack? Sometimes they'll bring it down a little bit. But yeah, I pretty much bought them all brand new from ARS. Let's see. Do you have any Enchi? Actually, I do have Enchi. I actually popped out some Enchi by surprise. Actually, in my Pastel Desert Ghost male. Didn't even know it was Enchi when I bought it. And I started breeding it around. And all of a sudden, I was starting to pop out all these Enchis. I was like, where are all these Enchis coming from? And then recently, I just bought a banana Enchi clown male that I paid like $1,500 for. So I actually invested in that Enchi. And I actually did a video on the combination of Enchi and banana. Make some really impressive combinations. So even if I don't hit the banana Enchi clown, just the banana and the Enchi together make a really amazing combination. Do you breed leopard fire? I don't have any leopard in my collection. The only fire I have is my fire pied here in my collection. Let's see. Can you see the banana? Well, I don't know. Maybe after Bobby gets a little crazy, maybe I'll pull out another one. The problem is all my other snakes aren't as chilled out as Bobby. So if I pulled out another one, I'd have to pull it out for like 30 seconds and then put it back on the rack. That is kind of crazy. Let's see. We're up to 94 people on this stream already. Pretty awesome. Can I have a baby snake? I have a limited number. I don't have any free snakes at the moment. I actually put a video out how to get a free snake that you can actually look at certain. You can go over to Craigslist. Sometimes you can get free snakes. But as a matter of fact, when I first started, I was thinking about giving them away, but now I just have lines of people, even for my normals, trying to get a snake. All right, Bobby, what are you doing? Oh, Bobby, yeah, getting in trouble. Back in the rack again. All right, so that's what I thought. Probably what I should have done is moved up a little so I wasn't so close to that rack. As a matter of fact, I probably can move up just a little bit. Let's see if I can do this. Move my lights along with me. Keep Bobby from getting in that rack. That might be the solution. All right, how's that? Now Bobby can't get in trouble. Is Bobby my favorite snake? That is a good question. So I always thought, you know, if the house is burning down, probably the four snakes I would grab Bobby, and I would grab my three triple heads. I have triple heads albino pied clown, which is pretty amazing. I actually have four triple heads, so actually I'd be grabbing five snakes running under the house with those. Probably the best snakes that I have. Really looking forward to breeding those. I don't think they'll be ready for another couple years until I breed those. It'd be pretty amazing actually breeding those. Do you think YouTube has helped your sales of snakes? Definitely. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable how many. I wish I could probably sell. I could sell so many snakes, and I just don't really want to get in like a whole warehouse of snakes. So you know, it's pretty amazing how fast they sell now. It's like people want to go on a waiting list. I'm like, no, no, no. The people want to pay in advance. It's pretty crazy. And I'm like, you know, usually I just do a video and say, hey, I have these snakes for sale. And then almost as soon as I post them, almost all of them sell, which is pretty crazy. What's my dream snake if money was no object? That is a good question. Probably what I would get into, I'd probably get into more of the like the confusion or the acid or the statics, stuff like that. I really like to get into that project. If money was an issue, well, I don't know. I'd probably get a whole bunch of stuff if money wasn't an issue. There's a lot of stuff I'd really like to get into. You know, a lot of it, some of it, I might be able to, I'd probably do like the Monsoon project, which is like a brand new project, really super expensive. Not a lot's actually been done with the Monsoon, so that'd be a cool project to get into. Of course, I think the Monsoons are selling for a visual like anywhere from 10,000 to 15,000 or something like that. So it's kind of crazy. Welcome back, Speedy Bear. Let's see. How come the monsoon seems to have slowed down? And that is a good question. I'm not sure about that. I think it's you know, pretty much as far as I think it's probably, you know, not that many people are into the monsoon, so it takes a while to actually breed it and kind of really get a project going, you know, just starting out with a few monsoons. It seems like a lot of morphs when they first start out, there's just a few, and then all of a sudden it just explodes, and then the more there are out there, the faster it really takes off. Kind of snowballs as far as that goes. All right, let's see. Let's see. How is the world's smallest ball python? He is doing great. As a matter of fact, I actually did that video, the world's smallest ball python. I said, I got the world's smallest ball python. It is 20 grams. And then someone came out and said, hey, I got a 15-gram ball python. And then someone actually came out and said they had a 13-gram ball python, which was incredible. So it comes to find out, I actually don't have the world's smallest ball python. It's pretty crazy. Hey, what's up, Color Kid? What's up? Is calico a codom? I'm not sure. I don't think I've ever seen a super calico, which is kind of interesting. It would be interesting to breed one of my calicos back to a calico to see if I could make a super calico and kind of prove it out. It would be kind of interesting. And Bobby's still getting into trouble. He's kind of between my back and the chair. I don't want to squash his little head. Crazy snake. All right, let's see. Let's see. Favorite YouTube channel besides my own? Yeah, that's a good question. Probably, actually, probably Think Media. I don't know if you've heard of Think Media, but let's see here. Let's see. So Think Media is actually a channel about growing your YouTube channel, growing and developing your YouTube channel. And I'm always over there looking for tips, and a lot of the tips that a lot of other YouTubers, you know, a lot of times they'll actually a lot of times they'll have all these different tricks. You know, you use clickbait, you know, do trending titles and all this stuff. And I pretty much ignore most of what they say, and I kind of just focus on my own niche, the ball pythons. And essentially what I'm doing is I'm trying to figure out, you know, if someone actually goes to a reptile show and picks up a ball python, no matter what it is, if it's a single gene or a combination, you know, that they can actually come over to YouTube, you know, do a search, and then I'll actually have a video about whatever they buy. That's kind of my focus as far as my channel. Spammers get the hammer. Yes, I actually did just delete that spammer. Actually, I am the moderator. Yeah. So yeah, please don't spam my channel. You know, you can ask the same question maybe a couple times, but glad you ignored the clickbait routes. As a matter of fact, I actually did have a couple clickbaits at the beginning, but I decided not to go with the clickbait route. That's not for me. The nanny gene, the nanny gene. You actually did a video about the nanny gene. It's pretty interesting. There's so many projects to get into. Not sure if I would get into that one or not. There's probably like it's probably down on my list. There's a lot of probably the confusion's like the number one that I want to get into next. Has Bobby been paying his child support? Actually, he has been paying off with his offspring, which is pretty good. Most anticipated pairing of the coming season, probably. I'm hoping to actually produce a whole clutch of visual desert ghosts eventually. I've been trying to do that for the last 3 years, and I still haven't done it. I really want to expand my desert ghosts. And kind of the weird thing is, if you've been watching my videos, I actually had a pied that laid a whole clutch of eggs. It was my female pied crossed with my male fire pied, and it looked like the eggs were infertile. And then we looked at them a couple weeks later, and I actually just looked in there today, and they were all moldy, full of white fuzz and green mold, and none of them developed at all. And I actually just threw them all away today, which is pretty unfortunate. But I definitely want to have a whole clutch of pieds next year, so that'd be pretty awesome. All right, let's see. Let's see how many people we have. Up to 97 people on the live stream, and we're at 6:30. I usually do a 1 hour live stream, so it'll be another half hour before we call it quits. Is it possible to say profitable without breeding feeders? Definitely. I think you pretty much, I don't know if you make any money breeding feeders. I don't know if you may make a little bit of money, but I don't know if it's really worth it. Pretty much the only positive with breeding feeders is that you actually have a supply of live rats and mice for your really stubborn feeders. Sometimes you need to feed live, and especially the live mice when you're feeding hatchlings. It's pretty much essential. And let me tell you, if you're buying live hopper mice for your hatchlings, you'd go broke. There's no doubt about it. I mean, you can actually do frozen thawed, and you'd probably do better than if you were actually breeding your own. But I don't think you could come out ahead if you're buying live mouse hoppers. That'd be crazy. Let's see. How much longer do you think the ball python will be profitable until the market is too saturated? It's kind of interesting. People always come up with this. Yeah, the market for ball pythons is saturated. But kind of the interesting thing is if you look at it's a lot different than breeding anything else because there's so many genes and so many combinations. You can actually look at 10 or 20 different genes that are not saturated at all, and there's always brand new genes coming out. So I don't think that it'll ever be saturated for ball pythons. It's kind of an interesting game when you get into ball pythons. Like if you're breeding, I've actually seen people, like when they had the whole llama craze and people were breeding llamas and making all kinds of money, and then they kind of flooded the market. That's because there wasn't all the different genes. You couldn't mix them together and then separate them out like ball pythons with new genes popping up. Yeah, it's completely different than any other animal. Let's see. Any more bamboo calicos in the works this coming season? I'm not sure exactly if I'm going to do. Actually will probably breed my bamboo calico male. I'll probably breed it again, so I probably will have more bamboo calicos. How do I get my mom to say yes for me to get a ball python? That's a good question. As a matter of fact, I actually have one video, how to convince your parents to buy a ball python. And kind of the weird thing is that's the only video that I have that is, I labeled it for kids, which is the whole kind of the new thing with YouTube. If you actually label a video for kids, essentially what happens is they strip out all the comments, they don't send notifications, and they don't promote that video on YouTube, which is it's pretty much dead in the water. I don't know, you probably have to go to my channel and search for the title of that video. Let's see. Albino spinner paradox. I haven't seen that one. Why don't breeders leave the eggs with the moms? I've actually heard some people where the female snake can actually squash the eggs and damage them, and a lot of times you don't have enough humidity or the right temperatures. It's kind of risky actually doing maternal incubation. Plus, the other thing about maternal incubation is the female will stay off of food for the full 2 months, and you can't get her back on food, so you pretty much have to give her the next year off as far as doing that. Do I have a website? No, the only thing I have is Morphmarket and YouTube. It's pretty much the only thing. Let's see. How do I get to my 2-ball pythons on frozen thawed? It just takes patience to actually get them on frozen thawed. Advice for first-time breeders? Yeah, watch all 900 of my videos. You'll know everything there is that I know about ball pythons pretty much. Do I worry about government restrictions? It's kind of interesting. I don't think the government would ever reach into the ball python industry because there's a lot of really big breeders that breed thousands and thousands of snakes, and there's a lot of money in ball pythons. I don't think that they would ever, restrict it to the point where you couldn't breed ball pythons. There'd be a lot of people out of business and a lot of money. It's kind of interesting. A lot of times they go after the pet industry, all these different, animal rights groups and everything. But the problem is you pretty much cut out all the profit and all the taxes on all the supplies. All the taxes I paid on all these racks, that all goes to the government. So I don't think they would do it. It's pretty much hurting the government in the long run. Have any of your snakes gotten hurt breeding? I've never had one get hurt breeding. Would you ever sell Bobby? Probably not. If someone offered me $100,000, I might think about it. Other than that, I probably would never sell Bobby. Let's see. What's the best pair for 800? Wow, that is a good question. Probably if I was actually starting out and I was looking for a pair for 800, probably what I'd do is I'd buy like a normal female, and then I'd buy an $800 male with a whole bunch of genes in the mix. And then from that, you can actually produce all your own offspring, and then, sell the hatchlings and then reinvest and kind of go that way. Let's see. Let's see. Any updated opinion on the spider gene? Spider is pretty awesome. I do like the spider. There's a lot of people against it. Some countries have banned it. And I would say, I think we shouldn't ban the spider. I think we should keep it going. And I'd hate to see any gene, become extinct because of regulations. But I could definitely see both sides of the story. I'll probably continue breeding the spider in a limited amount for the limited market of spiders. Where do I buy my CO2 for rodents? I actually get it from like a grow store. We have a lot of grow stores here in Colorado since they legalized the marijuana and everything. And you can actually go to a grow store. I actually bought my tanks originally on Craigslist. I bought my 2 tanks empty on Craigslist, and then I just go to the grow store, and then they fill them up for, I think it's like $5 or $7 or something per tank, and they last like almost a year. It's pretty crazy. Maybe 8 months per tank. They last a really long time. Did you get a new internet? Let's see. Yeah, so I actually upgraded my internet to double the speed. As a matter of fact, I was at like 1.5 megabits per second, which is kind of crazy. I upgraded it to 3 megabits per second. I didn't think it was actually going to work. And the weird thing is we keep getting dropped from the internet. And come to find out, it's my modem. Tomorrow we're supposed to get a new modem. So it'll be interesting to see with the new modem if it's any faster. But it seems like it's working pretty good. I don't know. It seems like it's you can see me all right, and you can see Bobby okay. So no problems at all so far. It's pretty awesome, and I definitely have better lighting here than in my car in the parking lot of the library, which is kind of crazy. Let's see. All right. Am I planning on making a quart hat, 4 het clutch this year? No, I have to work on my triple hets. So I actually have 3 females and a male that are triple het for Albino Pie Clown. And I'm actually shooting for a visual on that one. So as soon as I produce an Albino Pied Clown, then I'll breed that to some other recessives and make the triple het. I'm thinking maybe Desert Ghost, working Desert Ghost into Albino Pied Clown, which would be pretty awesome. It'd take a long time to actually hit a lot of combos with that one, to actually hit the 4 gene visual. Let's see. Have I ever heard of the weirdo? Yes, I have heard of the weirdo. I've heard of some really odd genes, and a lot of genes I actually can't wrap my head around. And some of the newer genes, they haven't really been out long enough to really kind of wrap my head around, exactly how they work with a lot of other genes. So sometimes I actually won't do a review on a lot of genes until there's actually a lot of snakes over on Morphmarket or somewhere else where I can kind of look at all the possibilities and the combinations. Let's see. Any new farm animals? Other than my ducks, I guess the ducks and the chickens are the newest. I hatched those out of my, I don't know if you've been watching some of my videos, but I actually hatched down. I actually have 38 birds out there now. I actually have some Pekin ducks, some Cayuga ducks, some Muscovies, and some Pekins. Pretty awesome. And yeah, so yeah, those Muscovies, they're really huge. I can't believe how big they are. They're definitely eating a lot of food. And such what I'm gonna do on those, I'm actually gonna sell the hatching eggs over on eBay. The hatching eggs actually, as a matter of fact, for my hatching eggs for my Cayugas, I paid $70 a dozen on those eggs, which is kind of crazy. And I'll probably get, maybe a dozen a day. So that's like $70 a day just on the eggs for my Cayugas, which is I could probably make more money on my ducks than my snakes, which is kind of crazy. Let's see. All right, so my comments, for some reason, they are lagging on my computer, but I can see them up here. What do I feed Big Red? Big Red actually eats small rats, which is kind of crazy. I'm going to take a drink of water. I actually have my Kool-Aid here. Is Lucy gravid? I hope so. I brought her, and I'm not sure she's eating a lot, so let's see. Do I need insurance for breeding? That is a good question. I think the problem with insurance is it'd be hard to prove the value of your snakes, and the value of your snakes is always changing. So actually, when I got into Scaleless head, they were like, when I first got into ball python, Scaleless heads were like $45,000 a piece. And now they're just like a couple $100. It's kind of crazy how the market changes. So I don't know if you can insure snakes, especially with a drop like that. I don't know if you can claim insurance on price drop. I don't know exactly how that. I don't know if you can actually insure You might be able to insure the racks or something like that. I don't know what Bobby's doing. He's trying to crawl between my back and the chair. You crazy snake! I don't want to crush you back there. Look at Bobby. Oh my goodness, he is doing fantastic. Has to come out in front of the camera once in a while. All right, let's see. Uh, let's see. What is the largest rat you would feed a huge ball python? And that is a very good question. So the biggest rat that I've ever fed, I actually fed a full-size mature female rat, a full-size retired female, to my really big 5,000 gram ball python. It's pretty crazy. I can't believe she's actually full size rats, which is huge. I just can't believe it. So that is, it's kind of unusual for a ball python to actually eat an adult. And that's kind of the bummer about the adult rats. As a matter of fact, my freezer is filling up with a lot of adult rats, and I'm kind of getting overwhelmed. Well, Lucy's starting to eat them now, so she came out of her shed and she's kind of going on a feeding binge. So I'm kind of using them up, but a lot of times, if you're just breeding ball pythons without a retic or something like that, you end up with a lot of old breeder rats that none of your ball pythons will eat. Let's see. Should I remove the hide from females when I'm pairing with a male? I never really used a hide, so it's kind of interesting. I would imagine you probably would want to remove the hide when you're actually pairing up your ball pythons. All right, Bobby, you're getting into trouble again. I don't know why he wants to go in the back of my chair. Oh, come on, Bobby. All right, did I get a lot of snow last night? That is a good question. We actually did get snow. It's been kind of crazy weather up here. We had like 80-degree weather for the whole week, and then overnight, pretty much, we got a really cold front, and the highs have been below freezing. It's crazy. It's been like, today I think the high was like 22, which is kind of nuts. We had about maybe an inch of snow, and then Monday it's supposed to be 75 again. It's really crazy weather up here. Let's see. Would I breed a 1-year-old female if it was up to weight? Probably not. I don't know. That's a good question. I've never seen a 1-year-old female up to weight, but I suppose you could try it if it was up to weight. But I don't know if I would actually do it. I suppose if you really fed them a lot, you could get them up to weight 1,500 grams. That's kind of crazy. Let's see. Uh, uh, let's see. How much was your farm? That's a good question. So the property here in Bailey, Colorado, it keeps going up every year. As a matter of fact, when we bought it, it was a lot less. I think we paid like, I think it was a little over 300,000 for this property. And the funny thing is like 10 years before we bought it, it sold for like 150, which is crazy. And now I think it comes in at about 500 or something like that. The prices keep going up and up. It's funny, if I actually sold the farm, I don't know if I could afford to actually buy it back again, which would be kind of crazy. All right, let's see. Let's see. Do I ever do shows outside of Colorado? That's a good question. I really haven't done any shows outside of Colorado, and it's mainly because I need to stay close to take care of all my animals. I can't leave my animals for too long. Otherwise, I probably would travel around doing shows. I have all my cows and dogs and ducks and everything. Let's see. Let's see. Are ball python hatchlings okay for beginners? I'd probably get a ball python hatchling, that is well started. It's kind of difficult getting a ball python hatchling, especially if it's really young and if it's on live mice. Usually they start on the live mice and then you have to transition them over. So if you actually got one, I'd say you probably want to get one that's maybe 300 grams and above as far as getting one for a brand new beginner. Or if you actually had like a supply of live mice, you could probably do it that way too. Let's see. I'm going to go back on some of these questions back in the history here. Why do some lemon blasts have a darker tone? That's a good question. I think it really depends on the version of pastel that's in the lemon blast. So the lemon blast is the pastel and the pinstripe, and some pastels are really dark and some are really bright, and it can really change the color of the lemon blast. Let's see. Was the beginning profitable as a snake breeder? Not for me. It definitely was not profitable. I was like losing my shirt when I first started. That's pretty much the hardest part, is starting out breeding ball pythons. And it's kind of funny. I actually put out a video on how to make money fast with ball pythons. And you can actually start with mature females that are full size, ready to go. And you can actually produce hatchlings the first year. That's probably what I should have done with at least some of my ball pythons. Instead of buying just hatchlings and then waiting the 2 to 3 years for them to mature. It's a little bit crazy. Did I find a buyer for the corn snake? Yes, I actually did, and it's paid for. So yeah, the corn snake has been sold. I'm supposed to ship it out on Tuesday. Hopefully, I actually sold it 3 times, and all 3 people backed out. And actually, it's kind of funny. I can't believe they all backed out. And this is the 4th person that said they were going to buy. Of course, this is the first one to pay. And that's kind of the hardest part about breeding snakes over on Morphmarket, is there's a lot of tire kickers where people say, yeah, I'm gonna actually buy that snake, and then they kind of back out, or something. And it's kind of frustrating. I wish there was like a buy it now button where you just go over and buy it and pay for it, and then you wouldn't have to really deal with all the people that they're like tire kickers just asking about it. It's kind of crazy. Let's see. Is it possible to make a Panda Pie scaleless? I bet you could. And I bet it would be really expensive if you actually made a scaleless Panda Pie. That'd be pretty crazy. Opinions on the scaleless? I'm definitely into the scaleless project. I'm trying to produce my very first totally scaleless ball pythons. Probably not this year. I don't think my females are going to be big enough. They're pretty close on the edge, though. I think I'm going to give them 1 more year before I pair up my scaleless. And I'm definitely, on board on the scaleless. It'll be kind of interesting. I heard they have a little bit different care. You really don't want them to dry out as much, which is kind of interesting. I've never really dealt with the scaleless. Do you have plans for expansion? And right now, I don't think I'm going to expand out of this reptile room, at least for the next few years, probably. Unless, well, it really depends on if my YouTube channel takes off and I make a whole bunch of money. Maybe I'll actually use some of that money to reinvest. The problem is if you make a whole bunch of money, you actually have to pay taxes unless you reinvest it. So, you never know what's going to happen as far as, the expansion. I could potentially expand a little bit. Yes, I can see your messages, but they're going so fast. It's pretty amazing. They're going super fast. Let's see. How much do you think I could sell a Panda Pie scales for? Well, I think the Panda Pies are going for about $10,000 or something crazy like that. So for a scaleless, I don't know. The scaleless, it really depends. I think the scaleless, they used to be really crazy expensive. They used to be like over 100,000, and now they're down to a couple thousand. So I'm thinking maybe between 12,000, 15,000. But the problem is, by the time you actually make one, all the prices could be way down. That's kind of the trying to chase the projects as far as the dropping prices and everything. All right, so I want to scroll back down here. Let's see. What should I breed my Mystic Potion to? That's a good question. I'd probably breed it to another Mystic Potion. That way you'd get a whole bunch of really cool combinations. Let's see. Let's see. How long do I incubate infertile eggs? I usually incubate until they mold. That's pretty much the end. And a lot of times I'll actually incubate them until either they mold or until the full 60 days. As a matter of fact, this last clutch, I actually kind of looked in them after about a month. And if they're not developing and they're starting to mold and smell bad, then I just toss them out. And that's pretty much it. Do I collaborate with other YouTube breeders? No, I actually don't. So I know some people have really boosted their channel. It's kind of weird in the whole YouTube scene. A lot of, the seasoned YouTubers, they're like, yeah, you can collaborate, but it's kind of cheating. Everyone goes through this really long, intense grind, and a lot of people take a shortcut by doing collaborations. You can do that, but it just seems like, you're kind of taking a shortcut. I don't know. It's, a lot of times it's hard to get a big YouTuber to collaborate with a smaller YouTuber because a lot of people, they kind of know what you're doing. So yeah, so I haven't really pursued collaborations. Let's see, the best genes to pair with a clown, I would say probably Pastel or Super Pastel. I really like the Pastel clowns. Let's see, how long do I wait to cut eggs? I usually cut my eggs when they start pipping, when they start first coming out of the eggs. And let's see, we're at 6:51, so maybe about another 9 minutes. I'll actually do the live stream for another 9 minutes. Let's see. I was just looking through these questions. Let's see. How long do I leave babies in the incubator? Essentially, what I do is as soon as I actually cut the eggs, I put them back in the incubator, and then as soon as they come out of the egg, I'll actually put them up in my hatchling rack. So as soon as they come out of the egg, you really don't need to keep them in the incubator. They're pretty much ready to go. Let's see. Yeah, breeding. There's a lot of breeding combinations. Yeah, breeding advice. It's a little bit complicated. There's so many genes. It's hard to actually give. What should I pair with what? That's pretty complicated. Did I build my own incubator? Yes, I built my own incubator out of a beverage cooler. I got pretty lucky. I actually found this beverage cooler on Craigslist that had a bad compressor, which was pretty awesome. And it was pretty much brand new, never used. And the guy sold it to me for almost nothing. And I got a really good deal on it, which was pretty awesome. Let's see. Do I sell normals? Yes, I do sell normals. They usually go pretty fast. The hard part about selling normals on Morphmarket is most of the times the shipping is almost the same amount as the normal. So sometimes it's a hard sell. Usually at the shows, the normals sell really fast. Let's see. Yeah, some people leave them in the incubator until they shed. That's kind of interesting. I don't think you really need to do that though. Let's see. Is it worth to buy a male banana pastel pied for 500? That's an amazing price. Yeah, I actually bought my banana het pied for $1,100 5 years ago, which is kind of crazy. I can't believe how fast the prices come down. It's hard to look at the prices, continuing to fall, which is kind of crazy. Just got your first eggs. Congratulations. All right. That's good. Let's see. All right, so I'm going to scroll down a little bit. Let's see. Slinky bit you the other day. That's pretty funny. Punk Raga. All right, let's see. What to breed with my male puma? Yeah. Yeah, the breeding advice is kind of complicated. I'd breed pretty much whatever you have together, and then the next year swap your snakes and breed something else. Let's see. Let's see. Let's see. Do ball pythons need light? Heat light. So they do need heat. I'd recommend a heat mat under the kind of the bottom part on the hot side. They definitely need a cool side that's probably in the mid 70s, I'd say. And a lot of people use a light and kind of dial it in to get that temperature if your room's really cold. But I don't really like heat lights because a lot of times they'll dry out the substrate. Let's see. Remodeling my basement. Yeah, I don't know if I want to do that. I'm not sure if I really want to spend a lot of effort into remodeling here. Probably what I'll do is expand into some kind of a different facility. I might build something here on the property, which would be pretty awesome. Let's see. So it's 6:55. We got 5 more minutes. How many people we got? We got 99 people on the line. It's pretty awesome. All right. When am I going to make a large enclosure for Lucy? The problem is where do I put the large enclosure for Lucy? We don't really have room in the house for like a bedroom size enclosure for, I'm thinking about at some point moving out. So I'm not sure exactly what I'm going to do with Lucy. That is kind of one of the dilemmas. I'm thinking maybe I can rearrange the basement, maybe put her on one of the ends. I do have one little corner I could probably build something in. As a matter of fact, I actually have right now, I have a hot tub that I'm not really using it needs to be replaced. So I was thinking about ripping out the hot tub, and maybe in that place of that hot tub, I could actually put a big enclosure for Lucy, which would be pretty awesome. The problem is Lucy's so strong, you definitely have to have something that is snake proof because she is so strong. She can definitely open just about anything. She's got a lot of power. It's pretty amazing. Or I could put her in the hot tub too. That'd be kind of cool. Yeah. Any of your snakes feed live? I do have a few that feed live. I prefer not to feed live. As a matter of fact, I have my scaleless head females that I've been feeding live. I'm trying to get them over to frozen thawed. As a matter of fact, just this last time I fed them, a couple of them took frozen thawed, so I prefer to feed frozen thawed and get them away from live if possible. Let's see. How do you get an albino pied? Yeah, you have to breed an albino to a pied, and then with the offspring that look normal, you'd have to breed those back together to actually get an albino pied. Or you can start with 2 albino pieds and breed them together and get all albino pieds, which is the easy way you can do it. Let's see. Let's see. What should I breed my male Pastavi Enchi with? That's a good question. You could do anything in the blue-eyed leucistic and make an all-white snake, which is pretty awesome. There's a lot of possibilities. Enchi goes good with clown or with banana. I love the banana Enchis. How soon after I euthanize the rats do you feed them off? That is a good question. So I usually feed them off right away. Sometimes what I'll actually do is I'll euthanize my rats, and then I euthanize them. I usually gas them with CO2, wait about 5 minutes until they're completely out, and then what I'll do is I'll heat them under a heat lamp, which seems to work really well, just for a few minutes on each side under the heat lamp, and it seems like they take them a lot easier after putting them under the heat lamp. Would I buy a Panda pied scaleless? Nope, I don't have the money. No. Favorite and least favorite morph? Probably my favorite is the bamboo. My least favorite, I don't know if I have a least favorite morph. I don't know any of them. They're all pretty awesome. It's hard to pick a least favorite. Yeah, don't overcook the rat. You definitely don't want to overcook them. I actually did that once before. If you actually keep I actually put some rats under my heat lamp, and I went out to feed the dogs, and I came back, and those rats were like cooked solid, and I basically had to throw them away. You don't want to overcook your rats. You just want to warm them up. That's for sure. My favorite banana combo, that would be a banana Anchi, probably. Yeah, so let's see. Is Morphmarket more profitable than selling at reptile shows? I don't know if it's more profitable. Personally, I would rather do reptile shows because you can unload a whole bunch all at once. So like in a reptile show, you'll sell like 20, anywhere from 20 to maybe 30 or 40 snakes all in within a span of a couple of days. You don't have to worry about, you know, the shipping and the organization and dealing with all the customers and the tire kickers. You know, I'll have like one snake for sale, and I'll have like 10 people interested, and I have to go through and, you know, kind of deal with all the people that are in line to buy the snake, and then the people that say they want to buy it and then they don't buy it, and it gets a little bit more confusing on Morphmarket. I'd say it's a lot easier to actually spread out your money on Morphmarket because you can sell snakes is pretty much as you need the money. So, you know, you go to reptile shows and it's pretty much like, you know, it's kind of like rags to riches. You sell all your snakes and get all the money, and then you have to wait for your next reptile show to actually make any money. Where Morphmarket is a little bit better. It kind of spreads it out. And sometimes, you know, you can kind of sit on your snakes until you need to free up some money, and then you can kind of sell it. So you're not, especially if you like sell a whole bunch on Morphmarket, a lot of times what happens is I out this the last batch of snakes. I put a whole bunch of snakes out there, and then you get, you know, like 50 people asking about your dozen snakes, and it can get a little bit overwhelming. I think it's a little bit better just to put a few snakes out at a time, which is, you know, kind of balances things out. Let's see. Let's see. All right, so actually it's 7 o'clock, so I was actually going to end my live stream at 7 o'clock. Let's see. Have you ever thought about doing a sponsorship with Press and Seal? Hey, that's a good question. I don't really like sponsorships because essentially what happens is you're pretty much advertising. Your channel turns into like an advertisement, like a show. And Bobby, I think, is ready to go. He's like going all over the place. He's like, oh, squirting all over the place. Hey, I've been up here for an hour. I think it's time to go. So I guess that is pretty much it. And that is my live stream. It looks like it actually worked. So maybe I'll do another live stream maybe next week. I don't know. I'll see. I'll have to, you know, check it out with my new modem and see if it actually works. So that is pretty much it. I think I'm going to exit out of my live stream. So thanks for watching, guys. I wish I could have answered all the questions. There's so many questions. You know, there's no way I can actually go back. As a matter of fact, I might actually go back and look at some of these questions offline and do kind of like a question and answer like I did before, and kind of catch all the questions that I just couldn't catch up with because there's so many. So I guess that's pretty much it. Thanks for watching, guys, and I will see you next time. If I can figure out how to exit out of this.